Tampa Bay opens at 7.5 after going 9-8 last season. Whew, this team. Baker Mayfield. Say what you want to about him. He's a pretty decent quarterback. He can take you there. He can take you a little bit further than there, and you can be happy with him. However, the weapons around him, Mike Evans, he's getting a little bit older, but still some of the best hands in the league. Chris Godwin, we just talked about this before the segment. Liam Cohen is the new offensive coordinator from Kentucky, correct?
That's right.
Got that right. Can't believe I remember that after 30 seconds. But anyway, he is supposedly, rumor has it, going to be moving Godwin back to the slot where Godwin actually shines and becomes like one of those fantasy players that you want on your team, rather than last year when he was playing the outside and that's just not where he's just not a good player there.
Right.
And this is what worries me about Tampa Bay.
Tell me.
Their secondary.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, last year it was not terrific, and they brought in, I think, Jordan Whitehead this year.
They did bring in, which is an upgrade over Ryan Neal.
It is. So I'm just
other side,
concerned.
Antoine Winfield, best safety in the league, an absolute dog.
I'm just concerned that I don't know how it's going to pan out. I hope it does for him. I hope it works out great. But I do want to point you to one small little thing here.
Well,
this schedule,
let's wait till we get off the air for that.
This schedule, specifically, let's look at weeks 4 through 10.
Okay.
Starting at week 4, you have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Then you play the Falcons, a divisional opponent.
Correct.
Then you play the Saints, a divisional opponent. Then you play the Ravens, a scary team. Then you play the Falcons again. Then you play the Chiefs. Then you play the 49ers.
Holy crap. And before that, you got Broncos Lions.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah. So it's a scary, scary stretch. Enough for me to say under here because I think 7 wins is maybe their max. And I would be willing to bet that their season relies on weeks 4 through 10 they have to find 2 wins there if they want to have a chance in this division, right? Like, wouldn't you say?
I think they got to win 3 or 4 of those games.
Yeah, I guess.
That's 7 games.
I'm just looking, but okay, we're going to talk about the rest of the teams in this division, but I just think that they have to win at least 2.
Well, that ain't going to get them over, buddy. That ain't going to get them over.
It may get them over, but it may get them second place in the division.
Might be, but that's not going to get them a playoff spot. So I have always been a Baker fan. I've always said, you can back me up here. I think we've probably got it on audio on this podcast. When Cleveland ran him out of town, I said, I don't know why. He is a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's what I kept saying when he didn't have a job. I was like, you're not going to convince me he's not one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the league. Like, what are we doing? I know he's not elite. He's around that 15 range. Baker excels on kind of playing a little reckless and throwing the ball deep. But you can only allow him to do that when you can really set up and develop a run game. Ryan, this team has no running backs. It has no running game. The run game was non-existent last year, and they said, yeah, we'll do that again. They were frisky last year, but they only made the playoffs because this is such a bad division. I'm not confident in Rachaad White. I'm not super confident in the offensive line. Like, it should be a little better, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to run the football successfully enough to give Baker those opportunities to take the deep shots, to go over the top of the defense. I hope so. I don't know what to think about Liam Cohen. He wasn't a great offensive coordinator that year with the Rams. I know they had a lot of other issues. Kentucky was, okay. It's not like I'm not going to pretend I sat here and grinded Kentucky film, but I did watch a couple of their games. I'm with you. I have questions on the defense. Tampa Bay made an interesting decision. They kind of made the same decision they did after they won the Super Bowl. They say, we're bringing the gang back together. You can get away with that when you win the Super Bowl, but like when you go 9-8 and, make the playoffs and beat the Eagles and then get bounced and be like, we're doing it again. Like, all right, but maybe we could have done something else. I like Baker Mayfield. I just have to go under because I feel like last year was, I don't want to use the word fluke, but a little bit of a fluke. Looking at that schedule, I don't think it's happening. I think the run game is going to be non-existent. The defense last year could not get pressure on opposing quarterbacks unless they blitzed. If they blitzed, they could. Great, that's kind of the point of a blitz. They couldn't get pressure without it. I think there's a lot of holes in this team. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. I kind of hope they do because I like Baker. But right now, I've got to lean the under because I see a regression coming.
Yeah, I'm not so down on White like you are. I think he is going to be he may take a small step forward this year compared to last year, but look, last season they finished 21st overall offense, 24th overall defense. I don't know what they've done this offseason to make me think they'll do any better than that. And with them finishing 9-8 last year, I think that was Dave Canales written all over it. Like it was just, he had his offense just screaming. And there's too many questions to be answered, especially on the offensive side of the ball, really in the offensive coordinator position that I just don't know about. I mean, we have a small sample size from the Rams in 2022. That doesn't look great. Yeah, if you want to say college went better for him, that's fantastic. But there's too many question marks all over. You got the age coming in at the wide receivers. You got the offensive coordinator. You got Baker Mayfield who got paid, and let's see how he plays after he got paid. I don't know. There's not much improvement throughout this offseason to make me think that they're going to be better than 7.5 wins. I love what you said, getting the gang back together. That's what they're doing, man. They're calling all their old buddies and saying, "Hey, let's come do this again." And I just don't think with the talent at this next team we'll talk about in Atlanta that they have what it takes to win this division.
I kind of agree with you. I think they're going to be a painfully average team. Wouldn't be shocked if they won the division because I kind of think the division stinks like it always does, but I'm not gonna bet on it. No way I could bet the over. No way.